Question. Arrival of the British expansion was a more important factor for the decline of the Mughal rule than the weaknesses of the Mughal rulers themselves. Agree or disagree? Explain fully. 14. Answer. The British East India Company reached India in 1608 AD when the Mughal Empire was nearing its peak. The British had primarily come for trade in India. Initially, their trade benefited Indians, too, but gradually the British began to enjoy monopoly on trade. With time, the money thus earned was used to manufacture more sophisticated weapons. Being the first beneficiary of the Industrial Revolution, they had developed modern weapons. Moreover, they were gifted with superior military skills. With this they had a strong sense of success. The Mughals, on the other hand, did not excel in science and technology. Moreover, the traditional disunity among Indians was also exploited by the British. In the 18th century, many provinces had broken away from the central Mughal authority. Gradually, the British were able to keep their own armies and expand their influence over various Indian territories that were previously part of the Mughal Empire. Their major victories started decades after the death of Aurangzeb. They defeated the Indians in such major battles as Plassey in 1757, Buxar in 1764 and Mysore in 1799 greatly reduced the Mughal control over various strategic parts of India. Weak successors of Aurangzeb fell victim to extravagant and luxurious lifestyles and paid little attention to the defense and consolidation of the empire. They became morally corrupt and comfort-loving, and could not overcome the difficulties faced by various parts of the huge empire. This complacence is the usual result of continued successes of major empires, and the Mughals were no exception to this. Negligence of the weak later Mughals to the state affairs also contributed to the fall of the Mughal Empire. The Mughals did not have a definite law of succession. On the death of an emperor, the princes got engaged in conspiracies, intrigues and making loyal groups that always led to regicidal wars of succession. Success of a candidate often depended on the support he could get from the military and ministers. This caused division of the army, and the state resources were wasted on mutual fights instead of public welfare and defense of the empire. Aurangzeb had divided the whole empire between his 3 sons in order to prevent a war of succession. However, the 3 princes began to fight, and eventually, Prince Muazzam established himself as emperor. Only after a few years, his 4 sons fought over the throne, but the victor, Jahandar Shah, was murdered within a year. So, in the 10 years after Aurangzeb's death, 12 different people claimed to be emperor at one time. This greatly destabilized the huge Mughal Empire, and the British fully exploited this to establish themselves. It may be concluded that the British expansion played the decisive role in the decline of the Mughal rule. British outsmarted the Mughals in military, trade, politics and social spheres of life. Their exploitative policies remained unnoticed by the Mughals till the British had established themselves in several parts of India by building military posts and keeping their own armies.